Counting for the urban local body poll results in Tamil Nadu is underway, and just ahead of that, the AIADMK leader and former Fisheries Minister D. Jayakumar was arrested for alleged poll violence. D. Jayakumar has been accused of causing violence at the 49th ward in Chennai's Vanarapettai, and this led to a row with DMK functionaries, accusing the Stalin government of high-handedness. The state, however, defends its action as a rule of law. Listen into the counter that is coming in from the AIADMK.
The CM of the state, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has put out a statement in support of the DMK member who tried to cast a fake vote and tried to do a booth capturing, and he is setting a wrong example on standing behind somebody who is identified as a lawbreaker. This sends out a very wrong signal and wrong message to the people, and it's definitely a shame for Tamil Nadu that a CM, a person in the rank of a CM, is standing behind a lawbreaker. And the 10 false cases which are foisted against our minister will definitely be seen in the courts, and the verdict of the court will definitely be a slap in the face of DMK and its leader, Mr. Stalin.
Shilpa is joining us from outside the Loyola College. We also have R. Rajgopalan, senior journalist, and Dr. Suman C. Raman, political analyst, on the broadcast with us. Good morning to both of you. Shilpa, get us the latest in terms of the counting which is underway. Also, the arrest of D. Jayakumar has led to another face-off between the DMK and the AIADMK.
Well, that's it, Swati. In fact, just hours before the polls of the votes of the urban local body polls were counted in Tamil Nadu, a senior AIADMK leader and former Fisheries Minister D. Jayakumar was arrested by the Chennai police. He, of course, has been arrested in connection with the case where he, along with another few party leaders, had attacked a DMK man, alleging that he was indulging in bogus voting, indulging in booth capturing, and Jayakumar, along with his party workers, they paraded him, they made him remove his shirt, tied his hands and paraded him along that particular street. And the Chennai police, of course, had registered a case against him and several other party workers. And based on that, yesterday he was arrested and he has been now remanded to judicial custody till March 7th. A bail petition, of course, will be moved is what we're being told. But even as we speak, the counting of votes is underway across Tamil Nadu. There are over 260 such counting centers across the state where the votes are being counted, and massive security arrangement put in place. And according to the initial trends, it's very early, but so far what we are picking up from local channels and other local sources is that DMK is leading in several of these town municipalities, etc. But again, it's very early to even talk about trends because in several places the postal ballot is still being counted. And as far as Chennai Corporation is also concerned, the trends are coming in very, very slow. So we will, of course, have to wait for some more time to understand as to which way this election has gone, because the DMK has been exuding confidence, saying that they are going to win big. They're going to win in all 21 corporations because of the good work that they've been doing in the last 9 months. Whereas the BJP and AIADMK, which contested alone this time around, they've been saying that the DMK government has been, the DMK has been engaging in a lot of malpractices, electoral malpractices, and the State Election Commission was...
Those, of course, are claims and allegations that are being levelled by these political parties. Shilpa, stay on with us. Yes, we'll have to wait for the trends to come in and, for the picture to clear a little bit more once the trends start coming in. Let's go across to our guest, Mr. Rajgopalan. Not just the assembly elections, but the DMK also swept the rural local body polls in October 2021. Will that trend be replicated is a big question, because of course the DMK would hope so, and the BJP is looking for making inroads in these urban local body polls.
Yeah. As your correspondent Shilpa Nair said, that DMK is on the ahead. It's ahead of, because it's a ruling party. Apart from that, Swati, the money power has been very, very nasty. Sumant Raman will say to you what an amount of one voter in Coimbatore alone got from 5 political parties, an amount of 17,000 rupees total. ADMK 4,000, DMK 5,000, BJP 1,000, CPM 1,000. Can you believe money power has played a part? And second thing, the low voter percentage of votes in Chennai that disturbed the DMK leadership and got the former minister G. Jayakumar arrested. And third point, there is 8-corner contest, Swati. DMK versus 8 political parties. BJP is contesting alone. Nam Tamil Katchi contesting alone. Kamal Hassan contesting alone. Patali Makkal Katchi contesting alone. What does it indicate? It's a referendum of DMK government for the past 8 months. And second thing, this high-pitched election campaign has been, Mr. Sumantraman will agree with me, it was fought on neat, anti-BJP, anti-governor, and for understanding, anti-upper caste. This is Samuga Needi, social justice. Social justice and what is that? Bijli Sadak Pani is the important for the local elections. But DMK made a high pitch and attacked Narendra Modi. We are not getting central funds. These are all certain allegations.
Okay.
But my understanding is, yes, DMK, because of the money power, because of the role and because of the police, they will, out of 21, they may take some 15 to 16. Obviously, ADMK has given a good fight in Coimbatore and other areas. My understanding
I also want to know what Dr. Raman's assessment is. All the political parties, big and small, are in the fray, like Mr. Rajgopalan said, contesting alone. And yes, the national issues did make headlines in the urban local body polls as well. The BJP also tried to campaign on the issue of Lavanya's suicide, and the local issues took a back seat. Do you agree with that, Mr. Raman?
I think that both the, 3 major parties, particularly the DMK and the BJP, tried to make it more on non-local issues. But I think eventually, as Rajagopalan said, the ruling party generally wins the majority of seats. And this is, mind you, another 4 years plus to go for the next assembly election. So generally, in a local body election, which is held so soon after an assembly election, within a year, generally people tend to go with the ruling party because of obvious reasons that they can get, work done in the local area. The concern about the money power being displayed is extremely unfortunate because, look, even for a local body election, voters are being paid off. And there have been accusations made not just by BJP, but by virtually all the opposition parties, saying that the ruling party has been distributing, gifts, basically casserole, hot boxes, and money, and anklets, and so on. And similarly, the same charges were made when the AIADMK was in power as well against them. I think the problem is the elections in Tamil Nadu are more becoming, a kind of a procurement rather than an exercise in democracy, and that is a tragedy. I mean, irrespective of whichever political party is in power, this is not about DMK alone doing it or AIADMK alone doing it. Both the major parties have been guilty. In this election, the point of interest is going to be pretty much what extent does the DMK sweep. Remember, they got 97% of the of a sweep in the rural local body elections, but they were held within 3 months of the party coming to power, so there was no anti-incumbency as it were. It is over for the MK Stalin government, so it remains to be seen whether they will repeat a sweep of such magnitude. Remember, the DMK is generally stronger in the urban areas than in the rural areas.
Right.
So, are they going to repeat that dominant sweep, or are the AIADMK and the BJP in particular? For the BJP, it's a very important test because Mr. Annamalai, this is the first election that they are taking on after Mr. Annamalai became the first significant election after he became the state party chief, because the rural body election came within a few weeks or so after he took over. So this is a big challenge for him. BJP will be eyeing an increase in the vote
rural
share,
local body polls were called a vote of confidence. Is that going to be replicated in the urban local body polls or not is something that we are all waiting to know. Mr. Rajgopalan wants to come in. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there are 2 aspects. I take further from Dr. Sumantraman's arguments. 2 most important things which Sumantraman will also agree with me, that local elections, apart from that, there is a dissatisfaction on DMK government. One is the flood relief. Second is, during Deepavali, the state government given 21 items free of cost to,
Pongal.
Pongal. So that was, gone negative of DMK, because all the recipients of that 21 gift items in a yellow bag, they're all rotten. In fact, the imli, what we say as a tamarind,
Right.
that was having threat of kids. These are all certain disaffection, and there is an anti-incumbency.
Absolutely.
97 votes polled by DMK will not be there. Even suppose if they slip to 80%, Mr. MK Stalin has to be out.
I think the picture will be clear once we start getting the trends. I'm compelled to take a break, Mr. Rajgopal, and I have to interrupt you. But thank you very much to you and to Mr. Raman for joining us on the broadcast with your perspective and your expert opinion. Without a quick break.